On the 16th of May 2022, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 has been released on Steam. This game was originally released in 23rd of February 2016. It released on Xbox, PlayStation and Origin, which is EA's PC store. So it's fair to say that there was no need to re-release a 6-year-old game that stopped being updated for around 3 years now. Or what if I told you that the most beloved video game company, EA, was up to something? I know, it's a shock. EA is doing something weird again, and I think I have an idea on what it is. But this time, there may be some logic to EA's madness. Allow me to explain. Remember when I said that Garden Warfare 2 stopped being updated around 3 years ago? That's because there was a new Plants vs Zombies game in town, or should I say, neighborhood. So, Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville released in September 2019. At least that was the full release, because you could get the game 6 weeks beforehand by buying the Founders Edition of the game, and yep, that's a weird thing to do, and it didn't look like it worked out well for EA and PopCap, let's just say that. Anyways, moving on, there was a new PvZ shooter that replaced Garden Warfare 2, and the new game did as well as Barney the Dinosaur in a boxing ring. But you would have probably given the opponent a belly rub while being pummeled down. That poor thing. So, it's fair to say that Battle for Neighborville's hype died just after the game was released. Only days after release, you would be struggling to find different lobbies, and on PC, some of the lobbies were struggling to fill up in the first place. So, I cannot stress how monumental the fall of BFN's player base was after release. To put it into comparison, you had tens of thousands of unique viewers on Twitch watching the game and people play the game, and literally a few days later, that number was 100, if you were lucky that is. So, if you do some quick maths, that's around 100 times less at least, which is totally healthy. Yeah, as you can tell, that's a big downfall, just minus 99% player base and retention. Now, the people who bought the Founders Edition of Battle for Neighborville were likely big PvZ fans, such as me. And these people were willing to persist and give the game some time to improve and be in a better state overall. And let's just say that these people waited and waited and waited until microtransactions came out. Wonderful! And at least they were just for cosmetics and it wasn't paid to... Never mind, you could boost the battle pass to have early access to a new character or ability. Great job, EA. I think that briefly explains on why Battle for Neighborville failed and the game stopped getting updated just over a year after its release. And the developers, at least when they were making the game, when they released it, they planned to keep it up for like at least 3 to 4 years. So let's just say that something went really wrong with the game. So it's the middle of 2020, and after that, Plants vs Zombies was looking a bit rough, with the delays of Plants vs Zombies 3 and Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville flopping hard. And then, the day of reckoning came. December 8th confirmed some of our biggest fears. Plants vs Zombies shooters were cancelled. So a fan asked on Twitter if the developers could bring back boss hunts to Garden Warfare 2, and the next developer of these games responded with, "Sadly, there's nobody left on that game." Okay, but that's Garden Warfare 2. It was over 5 years old at the time. Well, on December 14th, there was a final nail in the coffin. The same person, Justin Weeb, responded to a question about Plants vs Zombies shooters, saying, "We've moved on to other projects now, but the memories. Oh, the memories. I know that Justin Weeb tried to put it in the nicest words possible, but I don't think people were having it. Disappointing and devastating news to hear, for the Plants vs Zombies shooters fans at least. So it's pretty fair to say that these games were not getting the desired outcomes and were cut off the live support by EA. And it does seem like EA tried to milk the cow for the final time by releasing Battle for Neighborville on the Nintendo Switch on the 8th of March 2021. And funnily enough, I made a video covering this, so if you'd like to hear my thoughts at the time, then subscribe to the channel, like the video, make sure to check out the other video I guess. Yeah, I do cover this type of stuff, so subscribing would be worth it, or following if you're watching this on TikTok. Shout out to you TikTok users. Apart from releasing the game on Nintendo Switch, EA have also made the game free to play for some time to attract new people, and they also added it to the Xbox Game Pass. Also, EA have made the game free to play for a while to attract new people, play the game and try it out, and then they also added it to the Xbox Game Pass and they made it free for PlayStation Plus owners in August of 2021. So it's pretty fair to say that EA just wanted as much people to just get the game and try to spend some money on it. So, some of these ideas yielded the result of a dumpster fire, and some of these ideas were actually pretty okay. But none of these ideas helped reviving the game, as it basically was trying to patch a sinking ship. Like, good job, you tried patching this one piece, but the rest of the ship is already sinking. And now, we are in a strange situation, where Garden Warfare 2 was released on Steam in the late May of 2022. It's evolving! Just backwards! On a more serious note, this seemed like a strange decision, but this may be our last chance to revive PvZ shooters. Hear me out. It is very, and I mean very, clear that some people prefer Garden Warfare 2 over Battle for Neighborville, and by some people, I mean like 99% of the player base. So, these opinions were very vocal across every social media you can imagine, and basically, EA have allowed us to put our money where our mouth is. EA released Garden Warfare 2 on Steam and it peaked at over double of Battle for Neighborville's peak, and it's still averaging way more players. And Battle for Neighborville was still somewhat relevant when it came out on Steam, unlike Garden Warfare 2. Battle for Neighborville still was being updated and it still was somewhat fresh, while Garden Warfare 2 was 6 years old and hasn't been updated for over 3 months. So we, the customers, have voted with our time and money on what the better game is. And don't you think it would be strange to release this game on Steam all of a sudden? So I do believe that EA is trying to see if the player base is still interested in these games. And by the way, yes we are. So if the game gets enough sales and player activity, EA may give PvZ shooters a second thought, which ultimately is what we need to happen in order to revive the franchise and the Plants vs Zombies shooters. And personally, I'd love that to happen because I have a Garden Warfare 2 mech figurine that is GameStop exclusive. And GameStop doesn't even operate where I live, so I had to export it. So evidently, as a huge Plants vs Zombies fan, I want to see PopCap and EA continue making these shooter games, and just games in general, of Plants vs Zombies, because they were actually pretty good at some point. They just have messed up Battle for Neighborville. The first Garden Warfare and the second Garden Warfare were both great games. Battle for Neighborville was not, and now they're giving up. That's a bit silly, because you do make mistakes, but Plants vs Zombies 1 was great, Plants vs Zombies 2 was also good, and Plants vs Zombies 3 is having a pretty rough time, you could say. Also, it would be horrible to see EA kill off another one of its acquired game studios just after a few years, and we don't want to let that happen, come on. Not another one. So yeah, hopefully I explained why it's strange, but also interesting to see Garden Warfare 2 come out on Steam, and what it means to Plants vs Zombies shooters, and maybe the whole franchise in general. And if you made it this far, it seems like you're enjoying what I do, so make sure to subscribe or follow for more videos. Psst, I'm probably going to dive deep into the story of PvZ shooters, so make sure you don't miss that. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.